Morning class. Again we are here for the next part of our endocrine glands. Okay, so in the endocrine system, yesterday we had a class and we discussed about what is an endocrine gland. Okay, what are the two types of control in our body that will help in coordination of the various functions, and that was our nervous coordination and hormonal coordination. We even talked about hormones. Yes or no? What is hormones? They are chemical messengers and they are directly released into the bloodstream. Okay, and especially they're released by certain special glands, and they are nothing but they are our endocrine glands. We also discussed the difference between the endocrine gland and the exocrine gland, and the main difference was the presence and absence of duct. When we say endocrine, there are no ducts. That means the secretions, that is the hormones, are poured directly into the bloodstream. But when we say exocrine glands, okay, there are certain glands which show the presence of ducts, and their secretions are released via the duct. In our endocrine glands, the secretions that are released, okay, from a particular gland will be poured directly into the bloodstream, but the action of that hormone is far away from the origin where it is being, the hormone where it is being produced. That means it is somewhere far away, so that is why we're calling that organ as your target organ. Whereas in case of our exocrine gland, okay, the secretions once released will act upon somewhere nearby, so the action is somewhere nearby only. Okay, so these were the difference between our endocrine and exocrine. And then we discussed our first endocrine gland, that was our adrenal gland, okay, which is a cap-like structure over the kidney. And we even discussed that it has two regions, okay, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. And the two regions have different secretions, and their hyposecretion and hypersecretion, what are the diseases that are there. So we did our Addison's disease, we did our Cushing's syndrome too. Okay, and we also generally discussed the functions of your cortisones and our corticoids. Clear? Okay, so today we begin the class, okay, with a new gland, and that is our thyroid gland. I'm sure you have heard of, okay, this people talking about, okay, she is suffering from thyroid. Okay, so why we say that? What is thyroid actually? Why people suddenly put on weight, or they start, okay, losing weight? Yes or no? So if the thyroid gland does not function properly, then the people suffer from those type of disease, either hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. When we say hypo, means the thyroid gland is not functioning properly. The secretion of it, that is the hormone which it produces, is not produced properly, as a result of which it shows certain symptoms in that person suffering from a particular disease. Okay, similarly for your excess secretion. Okay, so now we discuss thyroid. So first we will talk about the structure and function. When we talk about structure, it is a bilobed structure. When we say bilobed, we can see that there is a bilobed structure out here. One lobe is here, the other lobe is here. So it is a bilobed structure. Can you see? So this is the right thyroid gland and this is your left thyroid gland. Am I clear? So it is a bilobed structure. Okay, now in your exam you will be asked the exact location of each of these glands. Okay, whether it's adrenal glands or whether it's thyroid gland. So when we, okay, talk about the thyroid gland, exact location of thyroid gland, so we will write down, it is situated in front of the neck, just below the larynx. So it is situated in front of the neck, just below the larynx. So you can see it's in the front of the neck region, okay, and it is just below the larynx. Okay, what is the function of this thyroid gland? So this thyroid gland secretes two hormones. Okay, we have our thyroxine and we have our calcitonin. When we say thyroxine, okay, so therefore it is the main secretion of the thyroid gland. Calcitonin is not in our syllabus, so we will not discuss anything further on it, but our main focus will be on this hormone, that is your thyroxine, and the gland, that is our thyroid. So thyroid gland and thyroxine. So we said that if we talk about the structure, it is a bilobed structure. Okay, so we can see out here it's a bilobed structure. All right, when we talk about its situated, where it's situated, so it's in front of the neck, okay, just below our larynx. So we can see out here in front of our neck region, and it is just below the larynx. Am I clear? Okay, so the hormone which it produces is thyroxine and calcitonin, but calcitonin is not in syllabus, so we will not discuss anything further on it. Okay, so you might get this diagram and you might be asked to label it or identify this particular endocrine gland. What are the secretions produced by this endocrine gland? Okay, and what will happen if there is hyposecretion, that is less production of this hormone, or more production of these hormones? So what are the diseases that will be their underlying effects of the secretions, okay, if it is not in proper amount? Now we discuss, okay, the most important thing, that is our thyroxine. So we come to our thyroxine. Okay, so it is an important hormone that is produced by our thyroid gland. What is its function? Why is this hormone being produced in our body? What is it regulating? Okay, so it is regulating. If we come down, so we see that it regulates the basal metabolism. Okay, basal metabolism. What is basal metabolism? When we say, okay, that means the rate of cellular oxidation and heat production. Cellular oxidation means what? So whenever you are consuming food, when we talk about a digestive system, so when you are taking food, it's digested, and each cells, okay, will get their glucose in them. Okay, and that glucose, once it is produced, okay, in the presence of oxygen, it gets oxidized. Okay, that is called your cellular oxidation, and the heat is produced, that is in the form of your energy. So that is called your basal metabolism. So the rate of this basal metabolism, that is what type of cellular oxidation, the rate of cellular oxidation resulting in the heat production, is controlled by our thyroxine. It also, you have to remember one more thing, that if there is increase in the secretion of this hormone, okay, then the metabolism rate will also increase. And if there is decrease in the secretion of this hormone, then what will happen? The metabolism of this particular hormone, the metabolism rate of the body will also decrease. Am I clear? So the main function of thyroxine is that it regulates the basal metabolism, that is rate of cellular oxidation resulting in your heat production. Okay, and it increase. And if there is increase in its secretion, then there is increase in its metabolism, and vice versa. Now we come to discuss about its hyposecretion. So what will happen if this hormone is produced in less amount in our body? That means not in appropriate amount that is required for carrying out the basal metabolism in our body. Okay, so there is certain amount of hormone has to be produced. The quantity has to be there so that it can regulate the metabolism in our body. But if it is produced in very, very less amount, that's why we are saying, what we are saying is that it's a hypo. Hypo means less secretion. Okay, so under secretion of this thyroxine, what will happen? It leads to a condition called hypothyroidism. Okay, and it has three types of effects. Okay, either the person will suffer from simple goiter, cretinism, or myxoedema. So these are the three types of conditions that can be observed in a person if there is hyposecretion. Okay, you have to remember this. So whenever there's hyposecretion, that means under secretion, and that is called hypothyroidism. Okay, so it leads to three conditions: simple goiter, okay, we have cretinism, and myxoedema. We will discuss now each of these three in little bit of detail. That means what happens, what is it all about? So first is our simple goiter. Okay, what happens in simple goiter? That means, why is this simple goiter taking place? Because there is less production, under secretion of the hormone thyroxine. So in this case, the person, okay, what happens is that the thyroid gland gets enlarged. You will see that the thyroid gland is enlarged, okay, and the swelling is visible in the neck. So let's check it out. It's like this: the thyroid gland is enlarged and the swelling, this is there in the neck. You can see that. Okay, why does this happen? This happens due to insufficient quantity of iodine in food. Now one thing I would like to tell you, okay, very, very important, that this hormone thyroxine, okay, if you look at its chemical constituent, what it is made up of, okay, so there is something that makes up this hormone, and that is your mineral iodine. So that is a very important constituent of this hormone. Okay, am I clear? So therefore iodine is a very important constituent, chemical constituent of this hormone thyroxine. Okay, so whenever a person, okay, suffering from simple goiter, so he's suffering because he or she is suffering because there is less production of thyroxine. So if that hormone is in less production, okay, so therefore and there will be certain symptoms like enlargement of the thyroid gland, swelling visible in the neck, and this is happening why? Because you know that there is insufficient quantity of iodine in food. So if your food does not contain iodine in proper amount, then it will lead to the enlargement of thyroid gland, as a result of which thyroxine hormone is produced in very less amount. Okay, you will see that people in the hilly regions, okay, where iodine is deficient in their soil, okay, as a result of which what will happen, the food crops whatever is growing out there, those food items will also be deficient in your iodine content, as a result of which you will see that many people, okay, from the hills, they are suffering from this particular disease, that is of your simple goiter. Am I clear? So we can see out here the diagram or the picture, sorry, where we can see the thyroid gland has enlarged and there is swelling in the neck. Next we come to our cretinism. When we say cretinism, it is a condition that affects the growth in children. Okay, thus we have to remember in children, okay, when there is less production of this thyroxine hormone, what will happen? The children will show dwarfism, okay, mental retardation, defective development of the thyroid gland. That means the thyroid gland will not develop properly. So when the thyroid gland does not develop properly, thyroxine will not be produced in proper amount, and if that is not produced in proper amount, the metabolic rate of the body becomes low. Even the growth is affected. You can see that they show dwarfism and there is mental retardation. That means the growth of your physical as well as mental is stopped. Next we come to our myxoedema. Okay, now this myxoedema will take place if there is any problem in the thyroid gland in case of our adults. Okay, so if the thyroid does not function properly in case of our adults, in that case you will see that there will be swelling of their face and hands. Their hands and face will be swollen up, and there is sluggishness, means very lazy they are. Okay, they don't feel like doing anything. So in any work, that means their metabolic rate is very low, because you know that it maintains the rate of metabolism. So if the less production means low metabolic rate, higher production means high metabolic. If it is more than what is required, then it is going to cause hamper. So you know that too less or too much of anything is bad. It should be an appropriate amount. So now we move to the next phase, that if there is hypersecretion of thyroxine, that means if more hormone is produced, if the quantity is more than what is required, then what will happen? So excess secretion of thyroxine, what will it cause? It is going to cause another kind of goiter. If there was less secretion of this hormone thyroxine, it caused simple goiter. But now we are saying that there is more production, more and more excess secretion of this thyroxine, more excess. So it is going to cause another kind of goiter, and that is called exophthalmic goiter. What is it called? Exophthalmic goiter. And the symptoms are going to be just the opposite of what was simple goiter. There will be marked increase in metabolic rate. That means you know that we have already studied that increase in the secretion of thyroxine will increase the rate of metabolism. So if there is more and more production, so the metabolic rate becomes very fast, which is not good for our body. So too much of secretion can lead to increased metabolic rate, as a result of which there will be rapid heartbeat, there will be shortness of breath, eyes will protrude, okay, and goiter will be formed in the neck. So goiter will be formed in the neck, as well as the eyes will be protruded. You can see how it looks like. So the eyes are protruded. You can see it looks very dangerous. So the eyes are protruded out, and there will be a goiter developed, a small size, okay, in your neck itself. Am I clear? Okay, so now we talk about the important questions out here. So give reasons. It's very important that iodine is an important nutrient of our body. People in the hilly regions generally suffer from simple goiter. Why? So you have to have a proper reason to this, okay? And write down the location and structure of the thyroid gland. State the function of thyroid gland. What is the function? What happens if there is less production of thyroxine? And what happens if there is hypersecretion of thyroxine? Write down the symptoms and write short notes on cretinism and myxoedema. So these are the questions that you are supposed to do it as a form in the form of your assignment. I would like to end my class with this, but with a short summary. So we all studied about our second gland, that is our thyroid gland. Okay, and when we talked about thyroid gland, we discussed its structure as well as its function. So in function, we came to know that it produces thyroxine, and structure, we know it's bilobed structure. Okay, and location, front of the neck, below the larynx. That is the exact location. You can see the diagram, the bilobed structure and its location. Then we came to the function of thyroxine. What does it do actually? So we know that it regulates the basal metabolism. Okay, that means rate of cellular oxidation and heat production. All right, and therefore increase in secretion of the hormone increases the metabolism and vice versa. What happens if there's less production? That is your under secretion, a condition called hypothyroidism. So it leads to three conditions: simple goiter, cretinism and myxoedema. When we talk about simple goiter, we said that, okay, that if we have less amount of iodine, right, in our food, right, then we suffer from the simple goiter, where we have enlargement of the thyroid gland visible, which is visible in the neck in the form of a swelling. All right, and therefore we also discussed why in hilly people this occurs. So the answer is given out here only. So the reasoning question is very, very important for your ICSE point of view also. Okay, so you can see in this picture, okay, the simple goiter, where you can see there's a swelling in the neck, as well as you can see the thyroid gland is enlarged. Cretinism in children, it whenever the thyroid gland does not function properly in children, then it leads to dwarfism and mental retardation. When you come to myxoedema in adults, if the thyroid gland stops functioning properly, then we have sluggishness and swelling of face and hands. Okay, and hypersecretion of thyroxine. So we can always say that it is just going to lead to another type of goiter, that is your exophthalmic goiter. And symptoms are given out here, that is marked increase in metabolic rate, rapid heartbeat, or at shortness of breath, eyes are protruded, and goiter is formed in the neck region. So we have the picture out here of the protruding eyes. Okay, and this is how people suffering from exophthalmic goiter look like. So the questions that follow after this, it's only based on the thyroid gland, and these are the possible questions that can be asked. I would like you all to do the questions and wait till the next session where we begin with another endocrine gland. I hope you all have understood for today's. So this is what it is all about, and I am happy